Hi, welcome back to Lost in Biden's America. This is my video journal of being a digital nomad in the year 2021, journeying across America in a conversion camper van. You can find most of my content at lostinbidensamerica.substack.com, but I also have this here YouTube channel. So I've been traveling in this van, and I sent a lot of pictures at the beginning when I was rebuilding it. But a lot of you don't really know what it looks like because I haven't done a proper van tour. And I finally can, and let me show you why. So here is what the van looks like when I aim my video at it. And this is sort of a regular lens. But now, with my new phone, I also have an extra wide lens. First things first, this is a Ram ProMaster 1500 with the extra tall option. There are two 100-watt solar panels and a max air fan. I also am showing off a very DIY bug net that I created. You can buy bug netting at Home Depot for $10 a roll. It's got plenty on there. And I have simply taped and glued magnets strategically around the outside. First things first, let's take a look at the workstation and storage area here. Underneath, there are a couple of baskets and some gallon jugs of water for storage. Then we have 3 IKEA drawer sets. On the right, boop. That's kind of the kitchen, the pantry. In the middle, we have sort of my bedroom drawers. On the left, we have the office drawers. So those are electronics, power cords, books. These drawers were a real lifesaver. If I had not installed them, they fit perfectly. If I had not installed them, I would have basically no storage, and I would not be able to sustain this lifestyle. Let's take a closer look at the workstation. So here's the workstation. Nice big countertop surface. I have an old gaming playmat here that is it's seen better days, but has served me well. Obviously enough room for a bunch of hardware, computer, mouse. When I'm driving, I need to keep the drawers shut. My ingenious solution was a set of bungee cords and some dollar hardware store hooks. Maybe someday I'll come up with a better system. So dual monitor. This monitor is anchored to this wall panel that we installed. 2 webcams. That's something I'm working on. I want to be able to turn this into a kind of a video creation studio, but the dimensions make it very, very difficult. Over here, speaking of studios, I have a microphone boom here mounted to the wall. We have the cables for the webcams. I just recently installed some hooks into the board so that I can coil things up nicely. Before they were all splayed out and tangled on the desktop. I also underneath here installed an LED strip, which I don't love. This is an issue that I have with a lot of the colored LED strips. Is the colors are actually just not that. They're just not that nice. Uh-oh. And suddenly you accidentally start a rave. That's a thing that happens periodically. This is sort of the neutral white. Over here we have a ring light that's mounted on an arm, which has a lot of maneuverability, so I can aim that light in directions, but it's not actually enough light. So one of my tasks for this week is to get a second light and install it on this side so that I can control the lighting on my face. So this is where I am when you see me on Zoom. So I know a lot of you I have meetings with, and this is what I'm doing. And this is what a lot of you see when I am on Zoom. So I have, this is the bed, obviously mattress, the bed panel. These are the legs of the bed. They flip up, and then the entire bed platform flips down. I'll show you that in a minute. But when it's up, we just got the pillows strapped into place. Underneath the bed is a storage bench. These curtains pull back, and under here we have tools and camping gear. Down underneath the middle section is my cordless drill and my backpack, and underneath the third is some extra supplemental storage, and also a bunch of extra toiletry stuff. So it's a nice storage bench. I picked these up at a Bed Bath & Beyond clearance, and they match the color scheme perfectly. This is an area we don't want to look too closely at or spend too much time, but this is the porta potty. It's a cassette toilet. Broom used to have a hook on the wall where it hung, and it fell off because command strips talk a big game, but command strips are bullshit. So I got to find another way to mount the broom, and then of course a little hamper, and then hanging above, what we have is a couple of laundry bags, and those laundry bags have sort of the used clothing. So one day old clothes. I often wear clothes 2 days. My thought process was that they're right next to the passenger window here, and as I'm driving, right, the air coming off the passenger window is gonna dry those out, gonna remove a lot of the stink particles. Of course, now that I'm saying that out loud, those stink particles go straight onto the mattress. So the system may not be perfect, but one takeaway lesson that I found on many van life blogs is that hooks are your friends. So if you can make something hang and hook it to the wall, that is absolutely the way you should go. So one thing to note about this van is that the previous owner had a swivel mount installed for the passenger seat. Here you can see it's a little bit raised up on that swivel mount. Boop, where's my finger? There we go. And it can flip all the way around. It's got a 180-degree swivel range. And she also told me that she never used it. And I was like, well, that's ridiculous. If you have this amazing seat that you can sit in, why wouldn't you use it all the time? But she was totally right. I never really sit in it. I flip it around when I'm camping because I want to give this like the feel of a home base. Now that I'm out in the middle of the woods and this is like my little fortress, I turn it around and kind of create a throne. But honestly, I almost never sit in it. It's not super comfortable when it's flipped all the way around. What's more comfortable is when you flip it halfway around and you put your feet up on the driver's seat and you have a little catbird seat there. So getting all up in the cab here, this is a custom-made windshield screen, which is really important both for insulation, shielding from the sun's rays, and also privacy. It fills almost the entire windshield and makes it look like there is nobody in here, which is important when you're trying to hide out. And then if we turn, I got one of these travel buddy guys. It's a canvas compartment thing with some structure to it. It's got pockets. Get out of there. It's got pockets, so I've got my Armor All. I've got tissues. This one's for holding my drinks. All the sunscreen is in there. I really like it, but I got to be honest. I wish I had gotten the big one. This is the medium-sized one, but they have a big one for It's in the advertising, it says it's for keeping your kids separated in the back seat, right? It holds all their video games and all of their snacks. It has a cooler compartment, and two uh, cup holders. It's like, well, I don't need that. No, I totally needed that. That's exactly what I needed: two cup holders and a cooler and a bunch of extra compartments. So I should have bought that one, and I regret it. But it's been cool. It's been helpful. Up above the cab area, there is a storage compartment where I store all of my soft goods. We have, well, fire extinguisher, very important. Mom, just, I know you're watching. That's where that is. Comforter, blanket, towels, extra clothing, underwear, socks, undershirts, all up there. So this is the kitchen cooking area. I decided after, I was cleaning the van and I wanted to put up a good show for you. So I did a lot of cleaning and I made everything nice and tidy and organized, but I thought maybe I'd give it a little bit of verisimilitude. So I left the dirty dishes there, for your benefit. So the sink does not hold a lot of dirty dishes. I kind of wish I had a bigger sink. That is a project that I can undertake at a later date. These, oh wow, in the with the wide angle lens, you get a lot of elbow there, huh? There's a whole lot of elbow in this shot. It's like the opening scene of Star Wars with the Star Destroyer. What the fuck was I doing? Okay. Okay, Star Destroyer. All right, so these were another total lifesaver. So these are just plastic trays with rubber feet on the bottom. They stick pretty well. They do not slide around even when I take sharp turns. If I have something top heavy, like when this oil bottle was full up to the top, it would on a sharp turn fall out. But now that I've got all the levels, all the centers of gravity of all these things are kind of low now. So those trays stay where they are. And it's a total lifesaver to be able to have oil and soap and salt and pepper and spices right up on the counter. This is my 2-burner. I could wipe that down. That's pretty embarrassing. Okay. So over here, what we have is the actual work area. This is where I can prepare my meals. It is where I can set things to get them out of the way. I bought this paper towel holder because it made me laugh so hard when I saw it on Amazon. I really should come up with a name for him, but I haven't. And then over here we have the router that picks up the mobile internet signal, the 4G signal, and creates a Wi-Fi network inside the van. So the wall above the kitchen is a really important part of the van, as far as I'm concerned. It is sort of a command center. Over here, I have my lists of, things to do before I start the van, things to do before I go to bed, stuff about eating. Up here, we have, very important, a humidity and temperature gauge. The hygrometer is telling me that it is 75% relative humidity, which is why I feel right now like I am a banana encased in a banana skin. I am just damp on the inside here. This is very important. Again, Mom, hope you're paying attention. This is my carbon monoxide meter. I even sprung the extra $5 to get the one with the LED gauge that tells you the parts per whatever of carbon monoxide. It's never gone above 0. So it's either broken or you just don't get that much carbon monoxide. I have a timer for cooking, and then this whiteboard is a real important feature. So one little hack that I have is I just have a whiteboard that lists off all my perishables, and it reminds me every day, like, oh, by the way, you have salmon in the fridge. Do you want to let salmon go to waste? I don't think so. That's not a responsible thing to be doing. Not for you, not for the environment, certainly not for the salmon. So it reminds me to eat the food before it goes bad. And it actually kind of works. This is something that I really wanted and needed. It didn't turn out to be as attractive as I was hoping. I really wanted to get a nice time zone clock set. But most of them are LA, New York, London, and Tokyo. And they're specifically set to those times and they're specifically labeled. And I was a little flummoxed that there wasn't a big timepiece that had Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. It seems like an oversight that you can't find that online. Anyway, instead, I spent $5 and I got four LCD clocks, and I set them all 1 hour apart. And then I, just as a reminder, as I was traveling from one time zone to the other, just as a reminder, this is where I actually am. This was a new addition, the fruit bag. Again, I was trying to follow that van life code of if you can hang it in a bag, do so. But it didn't turn out as attractive as I thought. This sort of beige lumpy bag just really isn't doing it for me. But more importantly, as I drive, it is just slamming my produce into the wall. So all of my apples and bananas and peaches are all bruised as fuck. So that hasn't been exactly successful. And then super importantly, we have the hooks. The hooks hang utility towels. I've got my lighter for the stove. I have my headphones live right behind me. So as I exit the van, I can reach up and grab them. And my shaker bottles. So underneath the kitchen cabinets, we have, this is the water jug. Behind it is the gray water where the sink drains down into. I bought a Soda Stream. I don't love it. I keep trying to make good things out of it, and I'm just generally not impressed. And then I have some more pots and pan storage, and the propane tank is down there. Over here is the fridge. It has been an absolute fucking workhorse. During the week when I was in Olympia, Washington, and it was getting up to 100 degrees, 110 outside, it got to 126 degrees Fahrenheit inside the van, and the fridge kept everything cold. I came back out expecting everything to be spoiled, but there was hamburger and there was fish in the fridge. It was still cool. I ate it and it was fine. So it's a beast. I think it's designed to be a trucker fridge. So it's, long hauls in the desert is kind of its claim to fame. Underneath the fridge is another one of those clearance Bed Bath & Beyond curtains. Behind that are the batteries. And shout out to Ben for helping me install the electrical system. And then quick note, boop. Behind the driver's seat, I have stashed, this is one of those lap desks, in case I want to sit in the driver's seat and do work. These are all of the window coverings that my mom helped to make. And then this is my suitcase. I haven't opened it since I left Maine. It is full of everything that I would need if I got a job interview. So if there is an employer that wants to fly me out to their campus or their headquarters to interview me, that has my work clothes in it. It has, in 3 months, not left that spot. It's still sitting there. So then the last thing to do is to show you the bed. So you're gonna have to forgive my shorts here. First, pillows come down. Boop, boop, boop. Last night's PJs out of the way. Next, the legs flip up. They lock into place. That was an innovation from my dad. Unhook the carabiners. I'll get out of the way. flip up the second leg, drop the platform down, drop the bed down, give it a little shimmy. Pillow. Pillow. Try not to throw the pillow into the forest. That's actually kind of an important point. Pillow. We're done. It's a bed. So let's be clear here. Part of what makes van life so much fun is that you get to pick what's important to you. For me, this extra long bed that could accommodate my frame was strong enough to hold me up. That was an important piece. And then this workstation was a really important piece. I knew I also would need water and a stove and privacy screens, things like that. But what really makes van life interesting is seeing what other people have done with their space. It's a limited space, and you have to think carefully about it. And that was sort of the fun puzzle that I spent 3 months on. Other people spend a lot more time on it. It can take years. It can take tens of thousands of dollars. I did this fairly cheaply and fairly quickly, and I'm considering it a kind of an ongoing project. It's not done. And of course, as many van life people on YouTube will tell you, being in this van makes me think of the van that I want to build next. So I see all of the flaws here, but not the least of which is that it looks like a mess right now. I can see it on the screen and it's messy, but there are things that I would fix and change. And, you know, if this lifestyle continues and if I end up with money in the future, I have another van in mind, van 2.0. But for now, to be totally honest with you, this van is just fine. All right, I got to get this bed up. Here, hold on to these for me. So I've got to say, in conclusion, that this van is a totally okay space for someone like me. I'm a big boy. I'm a very big boy. And if I'm wearing my shoes, I do hit the top of the van, especially I hit these light fixtures. That doesn't feel good. But when I'm barefoot, I can just barely feel the ceiling graze the hairs on my head. But in general, this space is big enough for me. I've never felt claustrophobic. And in fact, there is this effect where when I'm parked, you know, I could be parked at a Walmart or a Cracker Barrel or a Park and Ride, anywhere in this country. Once I have closed the doors and then put the covers up on the windows, this van feels like its own little world. It is a studio apartment, and it's plenty big. I mean, for me, it's from front to back, it's about 6 strides. It's big enough for me to do exercises. It's big enough for me to pace around in. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's this guy is where I hit my head. This is the latch for the back door. That's where I hit my head, and that pisses me off. I'm going to be honest, pretty profusely. But in general, this space is big, and it feels like its own little universe. I really do feel like I have a kitchen, a bathroom, an office, a bedroom, but also a cab. So I want to thank you for coming on this van tour with me. I hope that for my friends and family back home, that it gave you a sense of what my life is like and the space that I'm living in. And for those of you out there in YouTube land, maybe it gave you some ideas for your van. A lot of this is DIY and improvised and rough and dirty and cheap, but clever. I think we did, me, my dad, my mom, my friend Ben, and several other people who have contributed ideas. I think we got real clever and created a really interesting space. So I want to thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time at Lost in Biden's America.